Hello and welcome to this Black Talk Radio News Report and commentary. My name is Scotty Reed, of course. On this particular podcast, I will be touching upon a couple of stories that speak to woke culture and about idolatry as well. Now, for those that don't understand what woke means it's just a hashtag that was created to indicate that I'm conscious, that I know what's really going on. I'm not affected by the programming of the dominant culture or the dominant news media. I'm awake. I'm not asleep. So that's what woke means. And I'll be touching upon how some people, we think they woke, and some people think they're woke, but they're not really woke. They're not conscious people, okay, in the terms of how that word is used in the black community about being woke. And of course, as always, people outside of the black community start adopting our words, our terms, and our culture and disseminating it throughout the world. So more than just black people are using the term woke now. Also, idolatry. If you don't know what idolatry is, you again, if you have access to the internet, which obviously you must have if you're listening to this podcast, look up the definition of the word idolatry. Idolatry just means that if you believe in a higher power, if you worship a deity, that you then start subscribing worship, that type of worship towards a human being, okay, a flesh and blood human being. That's where the term idol comes from. When we talk about teen idols and what have you, it's not really a term that's used anymore, except for if you look at American Idol. I don't even know if that's still a show, but that word comes from idolatry, and it means to worship something. It could be a thing like in Christianity. You might have heard the story about the golden calf, but all three Abrahamic religions speak out against idolatry. But idolatry, I don't know about other countries, but idolatry, the worship of human beings, individuals, cults, or personality, is very, very strong here in the United States, and that's because of the media. Now, I will be focusing on Barack Obama and Michelle Obama. So if they're your idols and you don't want me to say anything bad about them, or it's going to hurt your feelings that I'm showing you that these people are not woke, then you can stop the podcast right now. All right, so let's go to Twitter. Let's go to this international. She's based in Lebanon. She bills herself as a Lebanese geopolitical commentator. And so I came across this post on Twitter, and then I started following her. I had never heard of Sarah Abdallah before, but she made a very succinct post. She said she's commenting on this article that comes from The Hill, where I'm just reading for those that's listening to the audio podcast. Former President Barack Obama, and this is a quote: "This ideal of purity and you're never compromised and you're politically woke and all that stuff, you should get over that quickly. The world is messy. There are ambiguities. People who do really good stuff have flaws." Okay, so I have actually been commenting on this particular quote, and he's talking to young people at his foundation. I guess it's in Chicago, right? But anyway, he's speaking to young people, and he's basically telling them, oh, there are no pure people. You shouldn't have any purity tests for politicians or anyone. And people get compromised, and you should accept that they've been compromised. I mean, since when is that ever a good thing? And you're politically woke. Now, I agree with him that people who think they're woke aren't always woke, okay? And sometimes woke is just a hashtag that people use. But, there are people in this world who are conscious, who are not just walking around like programmed robots, unconscious to morality, unconscious to principles, conscious to certain values and what have you. And he just tell them, just get over that. Just walk around and be in a political coma. Go back to sleep. The world is messy. There are ambiguities, And people who do really good stuff have flaws. Well, that's true. We all have flaws. But some of us also have character defects. And there's a big difference between flaws and character defects, okay? And so this is what she responded, and it really resonated with me because it's speaking true. The man who bombed Libya back to the Stone Age, turning a country that had the highest standard of living in Africa into a war-torn state where terrorists roam the streets and sell human beings in open-air slave markets, wants to lecture us about how we live in a messy world. So the principal point that she's making is you helped create this messy world with your policies in Libya of turning on Gaddafi, a U.S. ally since the Bush administration, who was actually fighting a real war against terror, had issued the first arrest warrant for Osama bin Laden because they blew up a couple of African embassies, and Gaddafi was a Pan-Africanist. And here he's a U.S. ally, but for some reason, and we know the reason, it's oil. Especially when you take Syria into context, they couldn't just straight up arm these terrorists, so they had to get arms from somewhere. I'm talking weapons. And they overthrew Libya and then took their weapons and gave them to them terrorists in Syria to continue the regime change policies of the Obama administration. Of course, y'all may remember Hillary Clinton cackled like a witch upon hearing about these jihadists finding Gaddafi, sodomizing him with a bayonet, and then talking about Allah Akbar. Okay? So politicians help create this messy world through their foreign policies, especially the United States. Okay? So that's what she's talking about. The nerve of this man to lecture somebody, oh, it's just a messy world. People got flaws. You know, all that stuff about being woke to what's really going on in the world. Oh, just forget all that stuff, okay? Now, let's go to his wife. Now, his wife has a huge following. She's the idol of many, especially black women, but white women like her too. All right? So we had this guy, George Mason. I had never heard of him before. And he's an award-winning writer, activist, and columnist at Afropunk, okay? And so he's commenting on something Michelle Obama said. Michelle Obama, this was shared by Kyle Griffin. I don't know who Kyle Griffin is. He's got the, let me see, he's a senior producer for MSNBC at The Last Word, okay? So he's a mainstream writer. All right, so he tweets this out about Michelle Obama, a direct quote. I can't make people not afraid of black people. I don't know what's going on. I can't explain what's happening in your head. But maybe if I show up every day as a human, a good human, just maybe that work will pick away at the scabs of your discrimination. Well, it's actually racism is a better word. Because I can discriminate against people. You know, when I was dating or what have you, when I was younger, I discriminated against, let's say, overweight girls. And I only, was attracted to thick girls or more slender girls, not obese girls. That's discrimination. It's, there are people who love them big girls and nothing wrong with that. My brother is one of them, okay? But that's discrimination. Racism is a whole different other beast. So Michelle Obama's not really woke. And then she's out here telling white people, that's who she's talking to. I don't know, I can't explain what's going on in your head. That's who she's speaking to. She's speaking to white people, white liberals that buy up her books and what have you and put money in her bank account. Now, George Johnson says white folk need to stop discrimination no matter how I show up. Our folks have been killed in their Sunday's best. Respectability politics have never saved a soul. So he got some pushback on saying that because, again, we're talking idols, right? We're talking people who worship them. I would have to go to his screen, to show you. But trust me, some people are saying, well, that's not respectability politics. Well, yes, it is respectability politics. It's putting the onus on black people in this scenario to be their very best. I got to show up to work and I got to show you I'm a human. It's not enough for you to just recognize me as a human being. I got to show you I'm a good human. How is that any different than saying good blacks versus bad blacks? Come on, people, use your critical thinking skills. Don't let your willful blindness blind you to the fact of what she's saying here. I mean, this really goes along with her husband. Every time Barack Obama speaks to black people directly, he's giving us a lecture. He's criticizing us. When all those black students was graduating from that HBCU, he wasn't congratulating them. He wasn't, giving them a pat on the back for making it through college and what have you. And no, he started scolding them. Okay? He scolded them. This has been his modus operandi, his MO. That's what MO means. Since he stepped onto the public stage, that's been his MO. Is to criticize black folks. I don't see either one of them speaking, sternly and correctly to white folks who hold all the power in this country. Here, Michelle Obama is putting the onus on black people to show up every day as a human, a good human. I'm already a human being. I'm a man. So I gotta tap dance. What Michelle do I have to do to get these people to stop practicing racism against me? Okay? It's disgusting to me. And yet people are want to be in willful blindness and say, oh, this isn't respectability politics. It most certainly is. And from just observing these two and their words, paying attention to their words over the years, these are not woke people. They are not woke. They're not even conscious. Many things that they said have indicated to me that I don't care how many degrees you have. I don't care what college you graduated from. You went to college to study one discipline. You might be an expert in that discipline. You might be competent in that discipline. I don't know what her college degree was, but she used to work in a hospital before she married Barack Obama. All right. So that doesn't make you smart because you have a degree or you graduated from Harvard or what have you. That doesn't make you conscious of what's really going on. So I'm not going to belabor the point, but, woke is just a hashtag sometimes, but it's just a doggone shame that millions and millions of people follow these people, worship these people, and then even defend these people in the face of their incorrect action, their incorrect words, and knowing the influence they have on the wider society. So, I see this as her making an excuse for bad humans, racists, okay? Because I shouldn't have to prove my humanity or that I'm good to anyone. Even bad humans deserve human rights. And when I'm say bad humans, and I mean that in a tongue-in-cheek way, but we see people who are in prison, and everybody that's in prison, most people assume they did something bad and they're bad humans, and that's why they're in there. Well, I don't care if they murdered somebody. They still don't deserve to be treated less than human. Because let's say they get out in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and we've treated them like animals. And so what do we expect is going to come out and be released into society? Okay? So, I mean, this is it's just disgusting that she would even say something like that. This is very disgusting that he would say something to young people and, people get compromised. Stop talking about being woke and all that. It's a messy world. Yeah, it's a messy world because you helped contribute to making it messier than when you took office. All right, this has been Scotty Reed with a Black Talk Radio news commentary. You can find all my archives at blacktalkradionetwork.com. I also distribute podcasts, and not just my podcast, but the podcasts of others, and you can find them at blacktalkradionetwork.com. All right, peace and blessings to all. Y'all be safe out there, and please support the production of independent media by making a donation today to the Black Talk Media Project. Peace.